Most of the traditions, let me start over. Most of the traditions and games are tacky. Don't throw the bouquet, don't throw the garter, don't take each other's shoes off and play the who's more likely game. You're all grown adults. We literally do not care. I love attending my friends' weddings and have been in several, but these are the things that give me the biggest cringe.
This person sounds like a Scrooge. What's your issue with fun?
Okay.
Why can't we play games?
From a cringe perspective, I see it. It's like the two, this is going to sound horrible, and you do what you want to do. Mm-hmm. But we have witnessed the two 19-year-olds getting married or two 18-year-olds getting married, and nobody's drinking because they're both underage, so their family and friends that come are not going to drink. And then they play the shoe game, and it's like quiet, and the DJ doesn't quite understand that they're young too, so they're like awkward kinds of questions, and as like a guest it's hard to appreciate. I just have witnessed the shoe game thing being a little awkward a couple times. It's like, especially when people are really sober. I think when people are drunk, anything's a good time.
Some of these games are cringe when most of the people at the wedding aren't into it.
Yep.
Like we had one bouquet toss where only 2 people came out.
We did.
And that was a little like, oof, probably should have just like not done that.
Yeah.
But if no one's laughing at the shoe game, then it's a little cringe. But I think if everyone's having a good time, like, what's the issue?
Yeah, I think it's a know your audience kind of thing. Yeah. Like, it's only cringy, I guess you're right, if there are people who, like, if the majority of the people aren't having a good time. But we actually had a wedding last year where the couple made t-shirts out of their engagement pictures, and they did t-shirt tosses instead of garter and bouquet. And I lived for that. I was about to get in there and throw some elbows.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, that was the coolest thing. Not cringy. That was so fun.
There is one that is cringy no matter what.
Dude, okay.
It is
the reverse garter toss.
The reverse garter toss, because if you have a reverse garter toss at your wedding, there's like a 99, in my experience, there's a 99% chance that this situation plays out. A young girl is allowed to catch the bouquet because she's
not married. She's a kid.
It's fun. It's fun to let a young girl catch the bouquet. But men get really competitive, and the tallest man will catch the garter, or the most athletic, and that usually ends up being
the least amount of shame.
Yeah, the one that usually ends up being a man that's over 18.
Yeah.
And so you have this possibly 12-year-old girl and this adult man that has to put the garter on him. And
okay, so really quick.
I hate it.
Mitchell, I think we need to explain what a reverse garter toss is for people who don't know. So obviously you toss the bouquet, a girl gets the bouquet.
Yep.
You toss the garter, a guy gets the garter. And then what happens for the reverse garter toss is the girl who caught the bouquet sits in a chair, and the guy who has the garter, who caught the garter, puts it on the girl.
Yep.
And there was like this one DJ who said for the amount of inches above her knee, that's how many decades the couple is going to be together. So you have to put it up high on the girl's leg, which is the thought. So that's why like a 12-year-old girl and like a 35, 40-year-old man makes it a little uncomfortable for any people. The only time it was not uncomfortable was a woman who caught it.
It was
her wife pushed her out there. Actually, I don't think she was single. I don't think she was single. And then the bride's brother, and he was a dork in the
he was
best
very
way.
Awkward. That one was
amazing.
Good.
And he put it on with his teeth.
Yeah, well, she was wearing pants too, which is half the cringe, is because it's a 12-year-old girl wearing a dress, but this was an adult woman who was wearing pants, so it was just funny.
And that was funny. But in 900% of the other times that happen, it is uncomfortable for everyone. Yeah,
and you just hope that the guy who caught it is classy enough to like just put it on her foot and not be into it.
Or to just like reject it entirely.
Yep.
Like the only people who are into that, except for at the wedding where it was the woman and the guy, but in like most situations, the only people who are going to be into it are the guys who brought like the 7-Eleven styrofoam cups. Like, those are the people who are into it. Nobody who generally has a good time with everything else. Like, it's the guy who was also watching football on his phone earlier. Like, that guy's into it because it's super uncomfortable.
That one needs to die.
Oh man, that one
That one's I agree with that one. I think the shoe game can be fun. It can be cringe. I think there's nothing wrong with the bouquet toss. I think depending on who you are and your guests, I think the garter toss can be kind of funny.
it depends. If you're gonna have a fun time doing it, do it.
Yeah, but if
It's
you
not
don't want to
awkward.
do it, then don't do
Don't
it,
be
because
forced to do it.
when the
Yep.
bride and groom don't want to do things like that, that is a little
One thing that can
uncomfortable for
also be
everyone.
tacky as a game, or can be considered tacky, is the dollar dash or like a money run.
Yeah.
Where-
my dad took a long time for my parents to convince us to do that one, because I was like, I don't want to
We
just
did a
ask
dollar
people for money. A
dance.
dance.
Yep,
Which I feel
people-
like is the same thing.
It's not the same thing. I feel like there's a different energy in the room
Yeah.
when people are paying money to come dance with you, tell you congratulations. It's sweet, it's intimate. You have like a moment with each person that wants
Right.
to dance with you. I feel like that, although could be considered tacky, is fine. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's way more fine than people sprinting around grabbing money out of people's hands. That's so impersonal. That's so like, give me the last dollar in your wallet. Like, if you want to do it, fine. We've had brides and grooms that have done it, and it's been hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
it's been absolutely
But
hilarious. I would have a hard time doing
all
it.
of your guests have to be into it, because if your guests aren't into it,
It's a
that
lot
would
of
be
people waiting
very
to run
awkward.
around, and yeah.
Nothing happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's a risky one. Any dollar dance, dollar dash, that's risky.
Oh, we had a dollar dance one time,
Not
right?
work.
Where they were like, all right, so if you want to dance with the bride and groom, you gotta pay money, and then
I
you
think
can
people
just walk up and dance with them. And they were just standing there kind of by themselves.
Yeah.
Nobody really danced
Yeah.
with them.
You have to understand that one's a little risky.
That one's
If your family is pushing you into it, like my dad said, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I feels like asking for money, and asking for money is not something
We have a hard time with.
I can really
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
But he said, all of my family done it. It's good. So I knew
All
that.
of my family done it.
Oh, he said everyone in our family has done it. It's like kind of a tradition. You have to do it. And I said, in my mind, I was like, okay, so at least my side of the wedding will probably all want to do this. So it's not going to be nobody.
They did.
So
yeah.
and it did. That happened. I think Caitlin's side didn't really understand what was
They're not
happening.
really. They're Nazarenes.
They didn't dance.
They don't really dance. That's
Yeah.
all right. That's all right. We'll get
Yeah.
it. We'll get them next time.
There's I heard a joke. This one's a little borderline, and maybe we'll cut it out. But remember, someone made a joke when we weren't going to school. They said, "Why do Nazarenes not like sex?" Because it leads to dancing.
I think that was my dad that told us that.
It was actually Cookie Swag.
It was cookie swag. Okay, well, it sounds like a joke my dad would say.
Yeah. It's like, I don't understand the problem with dancing, but we'll move on.